How do you feel?
Well, I feel pretty good. I'm very pleased to be able to sit up and take nourishment. But my bride was insistent that I had pneumonia. And she said I had to go to the hospital at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Called our son, called the little fella as I call him. And so I refused to go then. Later in the day, I went to the doctor's office. He decided I really did need to be hospitalized. And they say the rest is history.
How are you? You're feeling now pretty good?
I feel pretty good. Yeah.
We were all concerned. So much was going on in the mayoral race during that time, which of course, you know, we needed to hear your voice. Knew that early on Bill Thompson was your guy.
That's right. But I'm not unhappy with Bill de Blasio. He worked with us as well. And as a matter of fact, his wife was in our press office and speechwriting office. I autographed one of our books to her, and I said, "Thanks for making me sound smart." She enjoyed that.
Do you think of yourself maybe as a matchmaker? Because didn't they meet while they were both working for you?
As a matter of fact, they did, and I claim credit, especially for the 2 children. They are adorable.
They are. Speaking of the children, Dante is a superstar. Not to diminish from the daughter, but Dante's a superstar.
He is. And both of them are cute as well.
You know, there's this going debate. Do they move into Gracie Mansion or not? Dante wants to be near Brooklyn Tech with all his friends. He's 16 years old. You remember what that's like.
Well, I have a point of view on it.
Yeah, tell me.
I think that he should live in Gracie Mansion. And the security should get him either to school or to a point in the subway where he can then get to school by himself. Other mayors, Rudy Giuliani had 2 children, a wife, a mother, and everybody had security. So I don't see any reason why Bill de Blasio couldn't get at least some aspect of that for his son Donnie.
You were in Gracie Mansion as well. Is it?
Great place to live. Yes. And let me tell you, my favorite story about Gracie Mansion is that when Nelson Mandela was released from prison in 1990, he came to New York first place outside of South Africa. And Bill Lynch was insistent that we get him, and we were fortunate we did get him. And so he was going to stay in Gracie Mansion. And I was concerned that the bed was too short for him. And my wife said, "No, it'll be fine." And then later when I looked at a photograph of Nelson Mandela and Bill Clinton, and Clinton is slightly taller, I realized why. Because in my mind, Nelson Mandela was 10 feet tall. That's why I felt he wouldn't fit. But he's what an amazing human being he is.
Since you bring him up, and of course we continue to watch what goes on with his health.
Right.
Just give us your thoughts about Nelson Mandela, the man, what he means to mankind.
Well, each year, his birthday is July 18th and mine is July 10th. Each year I send the same message. Happy birthday, Madiba. When you are 109, I'll be 100. We'll meet and toast each other. He's such an amazing human being. Who but he and Archbishop Desmond Tutu couldn't conceive of Truth and Reconciliation Commission? You think about that. If white or black, if you come forth and tell of some dastardly deed that you did for, quote, political reasons, you might get amnesty. These including people who had killed people. But if they had suggested during the Nuremberg trials after World War II that they have Truth and Reconciliation, you'd have World War III. But Nelson Mandela understood how important that was to bring the nation together.
going back to the mayoral race, and we have a Democrat again. New York has a Democrat again. You were the last
about
one.
time. Well, I'm delighted with Bill de Blasio's success. He's a fine young man, and he really learned his craft at the feet of Bill Lynch, who was one of my dearest friends. He's on his reward now. And so I know that de Blasio recognizes the need to get around him bright, young, honest women and men. No principal, no mayor, no governor, no president of the United States has the ability to do it all himself or herself. You have to rely upon those persons to whom you delegate things. And I think that Blasio recognizes how important that is, that he will surround himself with bright, honest people. We're proud of the fact that in our administration we had no scandals. That cannot be said of the administration that preceded us or followed us. But we had no such.
So would you have words of wisdom for Mr. de Blasio as he enters? I mean, I know he's talking to Bill Bratton, he's talking to several other members of the police department, because that's what he has to certainly replace Ray Kelly, and that's top on his agenda, as are so many other things. Are there any words of wisdom that you would offer him? You've been there.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't attempt to tell him what to do, except to think deeply about it. And I mean, for instance, he couldn't go wrong with Macklin, who was a person whose field, his area of expertise is community policing.
You think that's what the city needs?
Well, wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt.
I think that when you look at your legacy, I mean, that you wouldn't want others. Should others define it, or should you define it?
Well, one of the reasons I've done this book is that others have defined my...
And you're setting the record straight. And saying things that you never said when you were in office, and even after office, but at 96, I'm not going to age you, at 86, you have the freedom now.
Well, that's an accurate observation. I'm more apt to say things today that I would not have said 10, 15 years ago. But the reason is I think it's important that those who come behind know what we accomplish. And it's a broad we, it's not I, it's we. I had the good fortune of having a lot of wonderful people with whom I worked, and they were terrific. Women and men, and we had more gays, lesbians, more minorities in our administration and on the bench as judges than any other. And I'm very proud of that.
So what are you going to do now, Mayor Dinkins?
Well,
just
ask my
chill
wife.
After your... The bride has the answers?
My bride, she tells me what to do. And when she says jump, I say how high. No, but we are fortunate. We have two wonderful children. The little fella, as I call him, he's 60. Daddy's little fella. And his sister, that he calls the golden child. She's not very fond of that, but that's what he calls her. And we consider ourselves very fortunate. When I tell our son, I said, you know, your mother makes good children. He says, well, Dad, you're half right. He never says which half.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Well, as always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Good to be with you.
And all the success in the world with your book.
Thank you.
Any extra words that you just want to say to New Yorkers who, you know, we had a lot of calls, people wishing you well while you were in the hospital, email, Twitter, everything.
I was very grateful for the response. We got a lot of cards and calls and fruit baskets and flowers and things like that, and we really did appreciate it very much. And but what I'd like you to do is share your secret with your female viewers and how you look so good, so young. I don't know what the secret is, but it works.
You know the secret as well. Good genes.